Are you willing to leave missing your shots a thing in the past? Well, good, because today I have 5 tips that good players don't want you to know. Let's get started. The first tip I have for you is look at your target, not your crosshair. See, at the higher ranks, all players are typically mechanically sound. All players are going to be able to shoot their gun straight while also strafing and trying to take as little damage as possible. So how does this tie all together? Well, if you're shooting at the opponent while focused on your crosshair and using your peripherals to track the opponent, you're going to be behind on tracking his movement or strafe. So instead of you beaming him and walking away, you're probably on the ground, holding your knockdown, blaming someone else. And let's be honest, we've all been there. Tip number 2, the Counter Strafe. So this is a tactic that I feel is never talked about, and it's something I brought up in other videos, but everyone always says learn the recoil pattern. I'm not saying you shouldn't try and familiarize yourself with the recoil patterns of your favorite gun or all of them, but what I am trying to say is the recoil pattern only matters when you're standing still. When you shoot your weapon while moving, you should be counter strafing. And what this means is if you are moving to the left with the left stick, you should be holding down and to the right with the right stick. Now, it's going to take some practice and you're going to have to familiarize yourself with the micro movements. But once you master the counter strafe, you will have a literal laser beam. I'll demonstrate this real quick in the range just so I can show you what I'm talking about. So look here, guys. Look at the recoil pattern. It's straight up heavy and then tails to the left. Well, recoil control, I think, is important. How hard do you have to pull down on the right stick to stabilize it? Now, when it comes to shooting it straight, I just leave that up to my left stick. Tip number 3, the importance of hitting your first couple shots. Try and think back to a day or game where you were cracked out of your mind, where everything was going right. More likely than not, you were hitting the enemy first and you were hitting him with the first couple of shots you fired. Why is this important? Okay, now I want you to think back to a time where you got dropped instantly or you had no chance because before you even saw the enemy, your shields were already broken. Remember how you felt in that moment? Heart was racing, hands were probably sweaty, and last but not least, your confidence on that particular fight was lowered. The goal here is to always be in the driver's seat, or like the first example, we always want to try and make our opponent the one dealing with all the pressure. Meanwhile, we just apply it. Not to mention, it's much harder to hit shots when you're getting hit and trying to reposition while getting the movement penalty from taking damage. I know the tip seems simple enough, but mastering this concept will do nothing but make you a better player. And isn't that why you're here? To be the best possible player you can be? Before I give tips 4 and 5, I want to say this. Gaming and helping others has always been passions of mine. And I'm lucky that there is a platform out there like YouTube where I can do both simultaneously. So if this video has helped you at all, please consider liking and subscribing. It's free and it will help push my content out to others whom I'd also like to help. So thank you in advance. One more thing before I continue. Comment down below if there is anything in particular you want to see. I'm open to anything and I enjoy making videos. I appreciate you hearing me out. Let's jump into tip number 4. Tip number 4, utilize all your interfaces. Now, I know this tip has nothing to do with aiming or mechanics whatsoever, but one thing I will say is there's so much information being displayed on your screen at all times that most of us miss or just disregard. Specifically, I'm talking about ammo. How much heals do you have? The map. Your teammates' health. What armor do they have? Watching the kill feed. What weapons are being displayed? And Do you hear those particular weapons firing currently? If the answer is yes, and you are watching the feed, you now know the team is using a wingman and a flatline. Both teams fighting have one player knocked, and now your team can use that info wisely. Not to mention, the teams fighting have no idea you're coming, so it's GG's for them. Tip number 5, heal every chance you get. Again, I know this tip isn't mind-blowing, but it's something I see in my games a lot. Let me ask you this. Have you ever lost a clutch situation where after you died, you went back and saw the opponent only had a sliver of health left? Feels bad, I know. But imagine if you popped one cell. Would you be the one rezzing your teammates right now while they're headed back to the lobby? I got 2 things to add. The first thing is, even if you can't take 4 cells or a bat to get back to full health, take as many heals as possible so you're at your healthiest possible when fighting again. You never know what the difference might be. Second, just in case you don't know how much time each heal takes, I got you right here. Shield cells, 3 seconds. Shield bats, 5 seconds. A syringe, 5 seconds. And medkit, 8. Before I go, I want to mention one bad habit I see a lot, and this is going to be controller focused primarily. Please stop flicking like mouse and key. To keep it real, we play on 2 completely different inputs, and let's be honest, one is a lot more precise than the other. I'll demonstrate this briefly in the range. Alright guys, so the first example is me doing it incorrectly and the rest are correctly. Again, thank you for watching. Until next time, have a great rest of your day.